Hi everyone, this is Dani Postma here with Aggie Yell. We are out here at spring practice number 5 today. I'm here with Mark Passwaters. When the first 11 came out today, we noticed that number 73 Jared Hawker still was not out here, and neither was Jay Sean Corbin, and we had Vernon Jackson running with the first team. Mark, what did you think about that today?
Well, not really surprised. It seemed like Jackson was probably, if there was a leader for the backup running back job coming into the spring, he was the guy. He looks like he's been doing that for the most part, running with the second team so far this spring. Interestingly enough, Hawker was out, so that meant you had Luke Matthews in at left guard, and you've already got Tank Jenkins in at right guard, so now 2 of the redshirt freshmen are in the starting lineup, at least temporarily. Kendrick Rogers wasn't out there today, so that meant Cameron Buckley was back in the starting lineup, and they moved Courtney Davis back outside. So a lot of the familiar faces were there, but some of the guys that you would normally expect to be with the 2s were out there with the 1s.
Right. It was very interesting to see some of the changes into the first team lineup. This is your first practice out here today. Did anyone surprise you? What did you think?
Well, I got a first good look at Baylor Cupp. The guy runs like a deer. He doesn't run like a tight end. Could he bulk up a little bit? Yeah, probably. But it was pretty impressive. One thing that I did notice that I thought was of serious interest is how the defensive line gets grouped. The tackles are over in their own little world, and the ends are over in their little world, and Bobby Brown and Derek Hunter were both tackles. So was Ondario Robinson, who is not really a tackle. He is much too small. So that's probably not a good sign. But it also probably means they feel pretty comfortable with guys like Jeremiah Martin, Tyree Johnson, Max Wright, those guys that are going to play at defensive end. So, take it for what you will. Is it bad that you've got a couple of guys that might have been ends playing tackle? If they were smaller, then yes. But if they feel comfortable enough to move them inside, that's probably a positive.
I'm going to jump into a little bit of the defensive side of the ball. So what did you think about our linebackers today?
Real interesting to see some new faces over there. Aaron Hansford is a guy that we've watched for a couple of years at wide receiver. He's gotten a lot bigger. He's gotten a lot bulkier. This is a guy that I've talked about over the fall and winter that could be really helpful if he's physically able to do it. At times he looked good, real explosive. Other times it looked like he was still hobbling a little bit on his leg. I think that's something interesting to watch. Andre White, the true freshman from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, he passes the eye test. He looked really good. I was impressed by how not high schoolish he looked. He looked like he'd have been on campus for a lot longer than 6 weeks, 2 months. Those were interesting. I thought that Anthony Hines was moving pretty good, even though he's still wearing the yellow non-contact jersey. Buddy Johnson looks a lot bigger, a lot bigger. I thought it was interesting that R.J. Aribo was not a linebacker. He was a defensive end. This is something that we had talked about that I figured that he might start as a rush in because at this point he's a little bit more one-dimensional with his game. But, it's still very interesting to see a small forward sprinting up and down the field. And that's basically what he looks like at this point. Ikena Okeke is not in a non-contact jersey, so that's a really good sign. He still does have a big knee brace on, which is not really a surprise. But if he's able to come back and be 100%, especially by summer, then you can start feeling pretty good about where things stand because it looks like they're going to have at least some semblance of depth across the board.
Some very interesting things to notice about our defense. Thank you for joining me today, and thanks for tuning in, y'all. We will be back with practice number 6 tomorrow.